Ich wurde gebeten, ein bisschen was zum Thema VDI zu erzählen, was dort passiert. Wer schon bei unseren Anwendertagen war, der kennt das im Prinzip schon, oder wer sonst die Arbeit des VDIs aufmerksam verfolgt hat, der kennt viele Dinge. Für diejenigen, die das noch nicht gesehen haben, die sehen es eben heute zum ersten Mal. Für die anderen ist es eine kleine Wiederholung. Mit Ihrer Erlaubnis würde ich das vielleicht, die Folien sind auf Deutsch und ich würde das in Englisch erzählen, dann hätten wir auch unsere internationalen Gäste mit dabei und die müssen sich nicht so langweilen. So I switched to English that our international guests can understand what we are doing here in the standardization work in Germany. And for those who come from other countries, VDI is the largest engineering association in Germany with over 150,000 members. And one of the most important tasks of VDI is to make standards. In VDI, we have developed the agenda BIM, which you can download from the website. And if you read the agenda BIM, you can see that there we have founded the so-called coordination circle BIM, which is a cross-matrix function in the VDI society of building architecture and building service and facility manager. And in this society, we are developing standards. We are also supporting conferences. We are writing position papers, and we make some publications. Our focus, where and how we standard, are on the one side technology, sure. It's processes on the other side, and then it's the people who are swinging like a pendulum between the technology and the processes. And the grip which they have, the rope which they have, these are the conditions like the laws and legal positions, legal environments. VDI is in the tension between other standards work. So we have, of course, the international standards work. You will hear about this from Richard Petrie in a minute. And the work of the standardization of buildingSMART International, some of this work results into international standards in ISO and in CEN, which then come to us through DIN into our country. So on the one side, in VDI, we have to react on what's going on in the other countries and on the international level, but also quite some work from VDI comes back to international. In VDI, we also have to deal, of course, with the industry. We have to deal with education, with the legal questions and research. The members of the VDI coordination circles are representatives from the building owners, science, we have users, we have software developers, and we have associations. So what we're doing there, we are developing new standards, or we start new standards initiatives. Of course, we have to find members to work with us. Then we are initiating conferences, or we are supporting conferences, and we are providing articles, for instance, in the VDI newspaper. We are not developing the wheel from scratch, so before we start a standardization project in VDI, we look around what is available. If there's something which is just good, we just take it, and if we think we need to adapt it for Germany, then we do this as well. Currently, we have some 80+ experts who are working in our working groups. And at the moment, we have 9 sheets of the VDI standard 2552. So the VDI standard 2052 is a series of BIM standards which are under development. And the first standard is going to be a green print very soon. That's the sheet number 3, which is about quantities and controlling. And for the international guests, green print means this is for public review. And after the green print, after the public review, we get a white print. What is also quite interesting is that VDI standards are always available. The white print is always available in German and in English, which means that many VDI standards are also being used in other countries. So I think we have a potential here that these BIM VDI standards will quite have an influence also in other countries. We had a quite ambitious goal actually to have more VDI standards finished around by the end of this year. And one of the reasons why we are not yet there is, of course, it is a lot of work, and you see we have 9 sheets here under construction. But one thing is that we are indeed dependent on international standards. And I just want to focus a little bit on this. If you look in the roadmap of our Plan Build for Zero, and if you look very closely, then you see there is a reference to the ISO 1965. And the question, of course, is how do we in Germany come to an opinion about the standard, and how can we influence the standard, or what are we doing with the standard? So for this, you have to understand how the standard works, the international standard works functions. I've showed this slide already in our membership, in our annual member meeting half an hour ago. And so here you can see the working groups in ISO, CEN, DIN, and VDI, which are working on different issues and topics around BIM. And if you read this horizontally, you can see which working groups have to talk to each other. And together with DIN, we developed this matrix here so that people, especially our people who are working in VDI, know which international standards they have to take care of. And there are also some VDI standards which already became international standards, like the VDI 3805, which is dealing with building service. This became an ISO standard. So in this game, DIN is playing the role of the national BIM mirror. And so since DIN has developed this national BIM mirror, DIN can vote in CEN and ISO. And on the other side, we have the national BIM standards, which is the VDI 2552. And we have now the different sheets, and with this matrix, we have some guidance, which sheets have to take respect which international developments. And here you see, there is the ISO 19650, which comes here in the working group 1, 2, 3 of CEN and ISO. And since this work is not finished yet, we have to wait a little bit. And you can see here there are 5 sheets dependent on this ISO 19650. So ISO 19650 will have an influence on these sheets. And so we're eagerly waiting that the ISO guys are finishing the work so that then we can adopt our work, which we are developing here in VDI. So with this, I just wanted to give you a short introduction what's going on in VDI. If you want to know more, just Google VDI and BIM, and you will end up on the website of VDI, on the BIM website of VDI. We have also our secretary there, Mr. Frank Janssen, who is happy to help you and guide you. On the website you can find also the agenda, and if you want to work on the actual standardization or to work on real standards, you're most welcome to join us there. So thank you very much.